yeah. I come from a place where only happy people and pretty girl everywhere, yeah. I know life is rough, but we still a smile on we face, yeah. No matter how hard, man, we don't let tragedy face, way. We could take strain, that's why when we testing, we just bet God when we jamming, we just jam down when we drinking, man, it's strong rum, eh. Pop a bottle right now when we betting, we just bet God when we jamming, we just jam down when we drinking, man, it's strong rum, eh. Pop a bottle, push up your hand, yeah. We see bodies we bad, push up your hand, yeah. God bless this land, yeah. So we go jam down, oh la la, so we go wind down, oh yeah yeah, so we go jam down. So we go wind down, hand in the air. If you're born right there in this land, where the vibes go, and I say hand in the air. If you're born right here in this land, where the vibes go, and I come from a place where even when it's tough, we just live it up, it's amazing. It's where even when it's tough, we just live it up, it's amazing. When the battle hard, we just better God, but we saved it. Yeah. I know that we saved, yeah. We gon' make it, cause God is our tree name. When we petting, we just bet God and we jamming. We just jam down when we drinking, man, it's strong rum, eh. Pop a bottle right now when we petting.
Current affairs.
Oh, what?
That's it. That's it.
Welcome, one and all. I am Juliet, alongside my sidekick, Mr. Arouca.
Your partner in crime, Juliet.
And we are going to be live on NCBN on a social media platform near you. IG, Facebook, YouTube. We are going to be
sensational,
tantalizing,
thought-provoking,
dramatic,
educational,
real,
sometimes spiritual,
suspense,
political analysis,
drama.
Take no prisoners, Juliet. Don't forget that part. Coming soon.
20,000 can rise against we like zombies and Juve morning. They can't stop the garden.
Children's Storytime with Auntie Katie is coming soon, only on NCBNTT television.
Hi, join us for your movie classics on NCBNTT television network every Saturday at 10:30 a.m. with repeats on Wednesday at 10 a.m. Streaming live on Facebook and YouTube. NCBN Television, the #1 online television network, bringing you the classics.
The views of hosts and callers are not the views of NCBNTT television. The views of hosts and callers are not the views of NCBNTT television.
Good evening and welcome once again to Juju Love and Mr. Arouca, live on NCBN television, streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Let me apologize immediately for the delay in our program due to current.
Yeah, we had a power outage.
A power outage, yes, electricity went.
Yes.
So we decided, to hold on for half an hour or so and allow for the situation to be addressed. And here we are. Mr. Arouca, good night.
Good night, Juliet.
How are you?
Juliet, I good. No problem. I went outside and coordinate that.
The electricity come back.
Yeah. I went outside and coordinate that TNTech program there. TNTech is one of the most efficient public utilities that we have.
Yes, I want to agree with you.
Yeah.
But be careful how you say you went outside and coordinate, because you might run into some problems with Rudy Indar Singh.
Yeah.
He would want to know if you have a senior managerial position in TMT.
Well, Juliet, the way them grabbing at straws, I would expect nothing better from them. How they grabbing at straws. I was now asking my studio manager here, because I wasn't too, I just heard it by passing. I think they had a problem with Dr. Rowley and his farm in Tobago. That's what he reached to, boat droppings.
Wait now.
That's what the situation reached to.
That one cracked me up, because
they really have something to say about the people.
No, but it's Dr. Rowley.
I take that as a compliment, Juliet.
Seriously?
Flattering. They have nothing to say.
No, but wait, seriously,
Juliet, man.
when I saw the response from Dr. Rowley, that is what cracked me up,
I didn't see the response.
You see the response?
No.
Let me tell you the response. Say the response. But by the way, did you say good night to our viewers?
Yes, good night to the viewers. Yes,
I have to always put a check on you, with that,
I said good
night. You just be so anxious to get down.
No, Juliet, I want to know who is running the LATT.
No,
if it's a Chot
wait
or some, no, because I can't understand this,
But wait now, it's a go show tonight.
It's a go show.
It's a go show. Oh, wait. You're going from Dr. Rowley and the goat pen.
No, this is important. The Law Association is a creature of statute, and by that, it is integral to the governance structure. It is part of, well, it's not a part of the governance structure, but it plays an important role in the rule of law and democracy as a whole.
Right. But can I tell you what Dr. Rowley said now?
Oh,
Lord, Father Jesus, have mercy upon my soul.
Go ahead.
Wow.
I didn't hear. I didn't pay attention. Once I hear good, I just turn off.
Right. So Dr. Rowley said in response that he understands that the UNC opposition members would have a problem with him going to Tobago and attending to his goat. Now I'm paraphrasing him,
Yes.
Attending to his goat, and that a prime minister could actually be attending to goats, feeding them his livestock, feeding them, cleaning the pen, and what have you. Because, this is what he said, the only way that they know how to make $1 is by thieving. That is what Dr. Rowley said. He said the only thing they know to do is to steal, to thief. So they will have a problem. So they will have a problem that he can be working so hard doing this type of job to earn an extra dollar and make an honest dollar.
And what was their response? Did you see any response coming from them?
Well, yes, I saw a response. Well, obviously, Ruda Munilal took it very hard that the Prime Minister referred to the UNC as only knowing one way of acquiring wealth or money is by stealing. Munilal said Rowley could take some document, I don't know what document he was waving, and cleaning out pen. You know what document it was?
Yeah, I think I caught a glimpse of
I can't remember what document it was, but he said Rowley could take, so he hit back at Rowley for calling the UNC
but always their response does always be so classless, and it is a shame that this is the level that the politics have reached to, but it is, well, I wouldn't say it is what it is.
And I agree with you.
It's classless.
No, I agree with you, but what is interesting to me is that the population have very little interest in that classless politics that is coming from the head, which is Kamla Prasad Bisesa, right down to every single member of the party. They don't have no problem with that.
Yeah, you see the population have no interest in it?
You now made mention there of LAT, and of recent vintage, we have been dealing with the vote of no confidence on the Attorney General and the Prime Minister, Kamla Prasad Bisesa, being embroiled in the bacchanal because she was called out by Attorney Israel
Israel
Khan, and she has been also called out by media through its editorial and the association.
All the newspaper.
Right, and the association
wrote negatively against her statement.
Right, and the association has called on her to withdraw and recant and to apologize for her statement. Right? So, it is clear that coming out of the nasty comment she made to Camille Robinson Regis, she going back again.
She going back again.
And not a word, not a word you can hear anywhere concerning Kamala's behavior. Because why? Because she's a woman. And because she's female, apparently on the political landscape, she is given a free pass, a slap on the wrist, because she is woman and she is female, and to say anything about her could be deemed misogynistic, right? And as you would have recalled in the last program, at one point, Jack Warner, who is a former member of the party, said it's because Kamala is a woman and because she's Indian, why people are attacking her like that. And recently, the last show we did here, we played a video with Wade Mark threatening members of the public and saying that don't say one word about Kamala Persad-Bissessar. If you all say anything about that woman or dare to attack the UNC, you would not
remain unscathed. And Juliet,
that is where we are.
And I'm glad Wade Mark made that statement, and he told us where he was quoting from. He was quoting from the former leader of the UNC, Mr. Baze Party, from 1995 to 2001. With that, we can kind of chronicle where the problem is coming from.
By chance, you can quote Mr. Pandey?
Yes, the same.
What he said?
He said the same thing. Nobody who attacks this party and the leader will remain unscathed. Would let us quote. Wade Mark was actually quoting Mr. Pandey verbatim.
Very well.
Right.
Do we have that clip?
Yeah,
because we need to go back to that clip.
Yeah.
Because why we need to go back to that clip, I took notice that Kamala Persad-Bissessar is staying very clear from comments made by Israel Khan. Apparently, she's afraid of Israel Khan. I don't know if Israel has some kind of secret.
No, as her attorney and a loose cannon as he is, I think Kamala is afraid of how far he's prepared to go.
Well, there you go. Is it that he's holding secrets for Kamala Persad-Bissessar? No. Kamala feels that she could jump out as deceased Satmarat said, eat what you want, drink what you want, play the ass all over the place, follow on Gandhi statue, wherever it is. But for some strange reason, you're attacking this one, you're attacking that one, you're selling out your patongs like Wade Mark and them to tell people don't talk about you, but for some reason, you ain't going close to Israel Khan and the comments he made.
Right, so before we himself go further with that, we must also remember that there's a doctrine in law called lawyer-client privilege, of which Mr. Khan is very much aware, and if he does breach it, he can be disciplined, and one of the disciplines can be expulsion from the bar.
I want you to go into details about that client-lawyer details, Samir.
The lawyer-client privilege explains that any lawyer that you hire must for the rest of your life, his lifetime, not disclose anything about your case to anyone at all.
Well, we're not talking about case, and that is why I said to go into details.
But Kamala have a lawyer-client relationship.
Pull breaks. When I said that Israel, for some reason, she's staying far away from Israel Khan, and the statements that he made with respect to her giving back the silk, and she she's no
senior counsel.
She's no senior counsel, and her credibility in taking the silk and what have you is one that it was immoral and what's to that effect. I'm not speaking about him disclosing anything concerning any legal matter he might have with her.
Right.
I am speaking about that Kamla Prasad Bisesa. It is a known fact that in several quarters, things have been said about her.
Well, that
and,
he can,
right.
That
And I am saying that given the nature of Israel Khan, that Bajan type of behavior, that loose cannon behavior, Kamla don't want to go there with Israel Khan. I'm not talking about
other than lawyer current privilege, we're talking about things that may have been, he may be privy to, that was said to him by somebody or something. I understand.
But everybody knows Kamla not said to him about it. Everybody know from Tong to Toko to Shagaramas to Separia to Waterloo. Everybody knows Kamla. So obviously, Israel Khan, I mean to say, it apparently because of the culture of the Indian people, they choose not to say much. But did you listen to Dave Prasad? I played Dave Prasad here. Did you hear what Dave Prasad said that Rudal Munilal said in a meeting? Yeah. Look, Johnny Walker. Look, Johnny Walker. So you have to understand when I tell you that she's afraid to say anything in response to what Israel Khan has said.
He's a loose cannon.
I talking about personal issues. Right. We talking about lawyer-client privilege. Oh God, you yourself, man, you must know that.
Right. Well, Gil, the UNC politics is so sordid, so immoral, so incestuous that I would put nothing
Who is the leader?
past an immoral, incestuous.
Who is the leader?
Leader. I mean, the party could only reflect the leadership, and that is what they are afraid of.
And that's why Wade Mark could come to say what he said there. When Wade Mark said, have nothing to say about Kamala, what does you think Wade Mark really talking about, and that he would not be left unscathed? What do you think he really? Let me tell you something. All the dark secrets, even him, Wade Mark, knows that all the dark secrets, they technically telling people here what's going on, have all the court closed, you know, because we're going to sue.
But then, in that case, Juliet, how was she able to survive 2010? Well, I think that's where the real problem came in. Between 2010 and 2015, a lot of nastiness played out. And how was she able to survive 5 years from 2015 to now?
You hear what Jack Warner said? Jack Warner said that he regret the day that he ever kept all that he knew about her and put her on the people of Trinidad and Tobago by supporting her to become political leader and subsequently Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. Tell you, Kamala is nobody, you know. Kamala behavior, you talking about classless? The woman is classless. You go back to the woman's history in the NR and you ask anybody, the woman is classless. I can tell you from my time in the UNC, all let's talk about ganja on window silk, about cigarette smoking and about alcohol. I am familiar with that. I am familiar with that. It's no big secret. It's just that people refuse to say anything.
It's a culture of silence in the party and in the community.
And one of the reasons is because she's woman. So she must get away. And that is why Jack Warner had to use this statement at one of his ILP meetings. Big crapo, small crapo, female crapo, male crapo, same damn handful of salt.
So, you know, Juliet, you see what you have just said there? Have been allowed to permeate our community. And you know what has happened? we have literally criminalized, polluted the country to a point that it is now. Which leads, and we see it being manifested with guns and criminality and things, but that is a true reflection of when politicians was allowed to do that to the country. Because and you see, there's evidence to back up what you're saying. The first thing Kamala Prasad, the sister, did when she came in, and this was not our show, we just happened to just stumble upon this. The first thing she did was to remove all the security apparatus that she found. We had 5 years of unsecured borders. Well, that's when all the gun come in. And you know what was the response unwittingly to illegal guns coming in?
The war is not on the sea, it is on the land.
When she done talk all that spit and leave the country with a whole cache of arms and ammunition, ups come inadvertently, we installed Gary Griffith. You know what that did? It put the government in with a policy unknowing to them of to balance off illegal guns. Ups come legal guns now. Jesus, Juliet. What's the difference between a legal gun and an illegal gun? All of them just kill people. All of them just hold ammunition and do the same thing. Destroy human lives. Gary Griffith sat about knowing full well that now you have to arm them with legal guns to fight off illegal guns. We are in deep spit.
You understand?
We are in deep spit.
You understand that mathematics, what you now describe it to the people of Trinidad and Tobago, and by extension the world?
But it's a fact. Gary Griffith gave over 6,000 gun permits in his time. You know what was the gun permits?
We're going to have video, so continue, but we're going to have video. Share the live, folks.
For the year, I saw an article, it was an average of 200 permits. Gary gave an average of over 1,000 per year. Because he only had 3 years, nearly 2,000 a year. He created nearly 20 new gun dealers.
And what did he say? What did he say as well? And we are going to the video right after I say this. Gary Griffith is on record saying that each citizen supposed to be allowed to have.
He went after the American Constitution. We have a right to bear arms.
To bear arms.
Imagine that.
Right.
The only country in the world have a right to bear arms is America.
And technically, based on what you now described there, he have been allowing persons to bear arms. So we, as you rightfully said, we're in a situation now where we have
too much of legal gun versus the illegal gun. And that happened between 10 and 15, and then inadvertently between 19 and 21.
Let's go to the live.
18 and 21.
Having tried and failed 2 times before, Prime Minister Keith Rowley seems intent on having a third go at his failed strategy of hiring persons to do an investigation, paying them well, and then coincidentally, you can see these reports may end up leaked to a specific media house come Sunday with a full-page splash of lies. But this one, however, now includes the plan to use parliamentary cover to hide in an act of cowardice. I dare you, Keith Rowley, your name man, if this report is so disturbing, then do not be a coward and hide in Parliament to discredit others, as you did with your failed email-gate attempt. Come out in the open and say it. I dare you. The hypocrisy is also alarming. Politicians hiring civilians with no law enforcement authority, submitting a report, and this is disturbing to read, and he wants action taken. But hear this. When Special Branch, which is a bona fide law enforcement agency, submits a report on one of his own, he runs to say that this is not evidence and fact, and he will ignore it. In a recent press conference, when he scolded the media if they even mentioned my name, and if he was unable to answer any questions, he said he was a geologist. This is the same Keith Rowley who said he received a report into FUL licenses by persons that his own government handpicked. This being his third attempt, as I said, and that he was sending it to the Police Service Commission. The first and most pressing question must be asked: why the Police Service Commission and not the DPP or even the PCA, since the Police Service Commission has no investigative powers but the DPP has? Is this in response to my reapplication for the post of Commissioner of Police? Is this another attempt by the sitting Prime Minister to influence a Police Service Commission? Fair questions given the antics the Prime Minister displayed with regards to the last merit list, running to the President's house and treating it like a post office. Another question that needs to be asked is, why is it that FUL licenses are the only thing allegedly disturbing this Prime Minister? So he isn't concerned by the hundreds of officers charged and suspended for violent crime before, during, and after my term as Commissioner.
Yes, Juliet.
I am fed up listening to Adam Sandler, the comedian of Trinidad and Tobago, local politics.
You know, you said
Adam Sandler.
Yeah, you said Adam Sandler. I thought it was John Agitation. Talking about it. Gary Griffith is comical. No, it would be laughable if he wasn't so dangerous. Eh?
Yes.
He's extremely dangerous. By his signature, we have a huge gun problem in Trinidad, and the huge gun problem we have is one of legal guns or apparently legal guns, because it had a corporal in the FUL was issuing variations. Remember, the man was arrested and charged for that. He has no such authority. It was so bad. It was alleged that persons who have the means, guns were costing them up to $50,000 for a permit. And it was also alleged that if you get charged with a gun offense, it could cost you up to $1 million to get it to go away. That is what I read in a newspaper. You know, the prices were going up to $1 million to get the charge to disappear.
And let me ask you something now.
That is because they knew that they were issuing variations illegally. You have a permit, you have 19 variation, corporal signing. This thing, the Prime Minister said that the FUL makes a regrettable reading. That is what Munilal was saying, that Prime Minister could take that report and the good backside with it.
Yeah.
But I know what is the problem, you know, Juliet. People are pretend, or if they don't know, Munilal, Gary Griffith, Kamala, all of them are one step closer every day that pass to the calaboose. Every single day, when you hear they coming and attacking like a roaring lion, because every day that pass comes closer for them to account. And therein lies the problem.
Stick a pen.
Go ahead.
Stick a pen. We're going to another video.
The response from Kamala Prasad-Bissessar in the UNC's usual Monday night stupidness, the Monday Night Forum. Never has there been a better name for an event, the Monday Night Forum for the UNC. But in her reference to eater food lawyers and so on, and the reference to the names and so, I don't know why the Express sees it as shockingly crass, because this is a woman who stood up in Parliament and said she could not support the Caribbean Court of Justice because it had no Indians. So what she said Monday is par for the course. You know what we should do? And, put a big wall around the former Prime Minister's estate. In fact, make it even wider. Call it Indish. Because at one time, there were these activists. They wanted to declare a separate state. India, combination of India and Bangladesh. Indish. Call that place Indish. Let all the fanatics go in there. Give them a few acres and things. Have the Queen of the Philippines as their ruler. And they'll be happy. And leave the rest of it, let me cope with whatever we have left.
Here now, from Gary Griffith to Kamala and the UNC, people serious in this country?
Juliet,
Arouca, people serious in this country?
We have been so criminalized.
Did you listen to what Fizzy Mohammed said?
Yeah. I wonder if he now get an epiphany. So he now know that Kamala deserves to cordon off a part of the Philippines and call the community English. He now know that? Well, we as African people knew that long time. We said on this program that if Kamala and them don't want to live here and they don't want to abide by the rules and laws, they can go They can go wrong penal, they feel wherever they want
Wrong
to
by the
go.
Pink Palace. Create as
A
you
committee
say.
called India, or wherever they want to call it, India, Pakistan, whatever, and leave us alone.
No, but seriously,
Yeah.
what did you make of Fazir's statement? Because he was very clear when he said that in the issue concerning the Caribbean Court of Law, is it the Caribbean Court of Law?
Justice?
Yeah,
Court
right.
of Justice?
She said that she would not support it
Because there were no Indians.
There were no Indians.
Racist?
Right. And he made the connection with the what happened with the law association and the individuals that she singled out. And he said she and her supporters, they can go down in the Philippines,
yeah.
create their own little village and whatever the case may be.
I don't know what made them feel we will miss them.
The Fazir Mohammed simply did not say that Kamla Persad-Bissessar is a racist. And it comes right back to Camille and the comments when she said to Camille, at least I get my name from my ancestors. You got yours from your slave
Well,
masters.
Juliet, Kamla Persad-Bissessar was in a headline saying Kamala doubles down on her statements, you know. And in that statement that the Express was talking about, Kamala used the word grovel. Used the word grovel about 20 times in an article. It is appearing to me that Ms. Persad-Bissessar will one day come out uncontrollably with the N-word. I tell you, she would not be able to contain herself one of these days. She will be so provoked. Her intolerance is amazing for a person who was just Prime Minister 7 years ago. All her policies that she made for her 5 years in government was anti-African. Of we take all and we throw some crumbs on the ground for you in a yellow jacket, a yellow suit, jumper, and tell you put your hands up, left, right. And when that wasn't good enough, she took the young men and incarcerated them and tell them find charges for them.
Yeah, find a charge for them later.
You go tell me this is not a consummate racist move? How come she managed to only treat African people so she never treated no one else like that in her 5 years? If she was so balanced, how come she didn't put nobody else in a yellow jumper? How come she didn't arrest anybody else and say find new charges? All were African. And a couple stray token in the we have a call?
No, we have a video. Yeah, up to now we learn that signal yet? Oh,
I ain't seen no signal. No signal.
Man.
Okay.
But continue. You will be able to
I see the signal.
All right, so we go to the video.
I'm living in my country, right? What do you ever understand what I'm talking about? When the PNN took over, right, they say Kamala clean out the treasury. It had no money in the treasury, right? But I'm going to explain something about Tanti Kamala, right? Watch it. Let's say this bag is of potato chips, right? This represents the treasury, right? She's eating chips. Here, hold that. Here, hold that now. You go fix this. Hey, you go do that, right? You understand, right? I ain't say she thief from the treasury, eh? Yes, saying that. But if so, at least she share. You understand what I'm saying? But let me tell you about Kid Roll, you know. This is the treasury. What's up? Just now, take your time. Just now. Tech. Oh God, ease me up now. Just now. Better trend. Give me that better trend. Give me that. Oh God, PTSD. Oh God, I know your butt shut down over the place. Oh God. Just give me some time. Give me some time. Pensioners. Oh God, I gun so. But wait now. My time almost up, boy. Ministry I work so lot. Hold that. They go fix on the place now. Let me look good. Right. You understand what I'm talking about?
That I'm not even self-amused by these clown and them that be pushing up themselves.
Shameless,
you see,
you know, Mr. Arouca don't even go anywhere yet, You know what hurts about this?
But that is what me about that.
When this type of duncy head statements, and look we're on TikTok, where all the young people are. These duncy head statements, and you watch at the individual, you know he's an African. You know he's an African. So this African man is telling people, right, that he is satisfied and he's happy with a prime minister and a government thieving taxpayers' money in this country, as long as when they it's all, you know, they say him.
That is level of.
So he doesn't realize. He doesn't realize now
that what they're doing here, they're not supposed to be. They're not supposed to be. It's not supposed to be here.
But not
only that. Chips are supposed to be sharing.
But not only that, what he does not even realize is that nothing from this bag can go and share around now, because there was only eaten and eaten out everything. It have nothing. They don't understand it, have nothing to share because of what they accept and what they tolerate. They don't look at Guyana. They don't look at Jamaica. They don't look at Haiti.
Right? They're looking at Sri Lanka, which is the textbook case of kleptocracy. And Juliet, a practical overview of that nonsense we just looked at there is when the UNC came in collectively, upon the time that they were ready to come out, collectively they weighed physically a couple of tons more in physical body weight. Everybody belly was pushing out, so they were fat. They couldn't contain.
He mentioned Petrotrin.
Yes.
Boy, these people.
So no, they were just alluded to the
real jackass.
That is because Kamala and them have pushed a narrative that continue to.
That all they're hungry and all they're suffering, and the government ain't want to give nobody nothing. But he mentioned Petrotrin. I want to ask him if he was satisfied, and I want to ask all the citizens of this country if they were satisfied of the hemorrhaging that was taking place.
$2 billion every year.
The hemorrhaging. They want the hemorrhage to continue.
Corporation sold. You see, because the persons who are talking don't care or know nothing about that. It doesn't matter economics, because $2,000 million $2,000 million the exchequer had was to go and put in the Petrotrin every year. After 2015, the last time Petrotrin made a profit was in 2014. This
Prime Minister, Mr. Arouca, is going out of his way. The Prime Minister is going out of his way to ensure that taxpayers' money in this country is not stolen. Why people cannot understand that simple basic fundamental of governance in the country? People are happy to tell you in this country they want the government in thief. They're happy to tell you that they want the government in thief.
Yeah, but you notice who's telling you that? It's only African people talking that spit, you know. But leave the government, let it eat and give you a little sprinkle, and we good with that. The government not supposed to be eating, partner.
Let me tell you something. That same individual that spoke there in that video, just recently they complained about the price of flour going to $100 a bag or whatever, from $60 for the 25 pound to now. Well, I'd already buy sack of flour and thing like how some people. So I think it's about $65 for a sack. 65 to 70 depending on the brand of flour. It's probably now $110, $120, right? And I'm just guessing here. People understand in a country, really and truly, what corruption
does to the country
and how it impacts and how it drives your cost of living. People understand that in this country, right?
Not only that, Juliet, how it lends to criminality on the ground. There is a direct relationship between corruption, white collar crime, and criminality on the ground where man toting gun normal just so. The playing field was laid. What we are experiencing is by design, you know.
Exactly, but you spoke about it when you mentioned just now, when one of the first things Kamala did when she came in, she removed the security apparatus.
You see the same borders that they're complaining about now, with Venezuelans coming in and out of, and they're telling you Venezuelans coming in and out. And we have both. When she left it open, she didn't know they was coming in and out. Well, let me tell you, because of our location on the world map, we are the most southerly isle. Venezuela is right there next to us. After we is nothing down south. We are the last down the hole. We always had that Venezuelan problem. Venezuelans were always coming in. When we leave the border open, they brought in anything they want, including and especially guns. When they saturate the ground with guns, up come legal guns now to fight that. So listen, the persons that continue to speak as they are representatives of the UNC is the ill-informed, the misinformed, and the plain old duds. They have no interest in what happens next in this country. So we have a lot of this. We have a lot of persons representing this in aliens, and you know what is the irony of this? Is innocent persons who have a contribution. It are persons naturally don't have a contribution to make to this country, and we hope that these are the people that can leave us and make up the numbers that have to leave us. But unfortunately, persons who have contribution to make will also fall victims to this, because it is important to understand the level of destruction that was done to this country. It is automatic that many lives will be lost. Juliet, it is a numbers thing, you know. The more you criminalize your community, put guns into it, the more bodies are going to represent that criminal, that whole.
And not for the first time, eh?
Not for the first time.
Not for the first time, because if you would recall, under Basio Pandey's UNC.
Yes, it was this.
There was this issue of guns being dumped in Laventille.
Yes. Juliet, let me tell you, the UNC and their cabal and their proteges and their tribe have no authority to speak to this country until they fix their casteism problem, their relationship to the caste system out of India. Let them fix that first, because I hear Kabbalah say to one of her challenges, the fellow with the glasses, the economist, the knife and fork COP man. Anyway, her main nemesis, until he gets over it, he don't challenge her again. I heard Kabbalah say that he is going to introduce more caste, and she's going to stand against caste. One big whole caste talk in the party, Vasan Bharat. When I heard Kamala making statement about Vasan bringing caste into the party, and she's going to remove that.
Yes, she said that. I remember that. Yes.
Let her go. Let her take me to court and say she didn't say that.
No, she said it.
I heard her say that with her mouth.
She said it
in a meeting.
Yes, that she's going to remove that.
And until I'm making a statement.
I have the clip.
I am making a statement as an African man. Kamala can't talk to me. She should not be able to talk to no African, including that dance day.
Yes.
Including that stupidity. who might work on this platform. Whose job on this platform, my job on this platform is to help protect he from them, because he don't understand. She has no moral authority to talk to us.
Paula, good evening.
Pleasant good night to you, Juliet.
Hey, Paul, how are you?
How are you doing, Paul?
I'm good at
Juliet, don't attack my friend Paul tonight, eh? Go ahead, Paul.
Paul, it's been a while.
It's been a while because I'm studying at the moment and it's been rigorous. So
Very good.
We kind of move away from not the noise, but the current affairs for a while.
Right.
But let me tell you something, Juliet. I don't want to be pointing fingers at the UNC or PNM or PDP or whatever party it may be, right? I am looking at analyzing the betterment for the country. And we have to be fair and we must remain collective in what we are saying.
Agree.
When we're moving forward.
Agree.
Right? And PNM have been long-standing in this country since 1956 to present. And I have also been a person who have been supporting this party without fear, without favor, whether it's Indian or whatnot, right?
Correct.
I throw my hands up in the air and I wave the PNM flag like if it's Trinidad and Tobago national flag. And I am saying if PNM was very much involved, or the party within itself, to get rid of the guns and the corruption and whatever Mr. Arouca speaks about, which I'm outlining now, it would make a difference. We have to understand that the UNC had 2 terms to make it right, and they didn't because of cleaning up certain different issues that the country had to deal with. And when I hear certain things just kind of bashing at other parties, we need to stop this, Juliet. We need to stop this, Mr. Arouca, because we have to live here. And even though I don't have a child, right now, at the end of the day, we have children, the future generation, looking on.
Okay, so pull up brakes. Let's have a dialogue. Pull up brakes. In your mind, when someone makes a statement like the video that was made there by the young man who was happy to say to his viewers that he is satisfied with a government stealing our money, you in responding to that, you are saying that it is wrong to respond to something like that?
I would say I think what he was trying to allude to, Juliet, is that okay, everybody in government.
He was not trying to allude to anything. He is saying that the UNC was stealing, but they were still given to the people. So while they're eating, they're given to the people. They're stealing, they're given to the people. While Rowley and the PNM just eating.
Honest. Right, and let us be honest, right? I live in South Trinidad now, but I came from the East-West corridor, right? And you could understand that every time PNM is in governance, the crime situation goes up. People under poverty, people cannot see their
Paul, go. Cut him off.
No, I want to hear.
That stupid talk.
Let him say.
Paul, you're on shit. That stupid talk, yes?
When UNC is in governance, you see that the East-West corridor is eating our food even though it's crumbs. Thank you. Have a good night.
You
now tell me.
Well, Paul is not my friend.
You now tell me.
But I will with Paul with that shit. I will with Paul. Paul is saying what Israel Khan said. In essence, Kamala was dishonest. She's not deserving of sin. She's corrupt. She's lazy.
Yes.
She's incompetent.
Yes.
She's tardy.
But I will still vote for her.
And he will still vote.
I will still vote for her.
That's what Paul's saying to me. In essence, leave them, let it thief. Because when the PNM in power, crime does go up. Well, there's a direct correlation between corruption and crime. That is what we just said.
Well, Paul is doing political science, so I think you need to you need to enlighten him, because I think somewhere there his lines are blurred, so he does not understand.
That professional misconduct. That is what that is. If he's editor, he would have learned that from
Just imagine.
Listen to me, Juliet. There's a direct correlation between a regime stealing out money and the next regime coming in. Crime follows that.
Right, but Paul is saying, oh, let's stop the political banter. Now, you see these kind of using these words loosely, because you could simply say it. You could simply say, let's try to unite and let's look at things, judge things from a unbiased position. Those words can be used loosely. The fact of the matter is, Mr. Arouca, we are dealing with politics. You have two main political parties, which is the UNC and the PNM. Paul, UNC and the PNM. And if it is that we have situation in the country, like for instance, we know that you notice Paul didn't bring in the economic challenges and where the economic challenges are coming from.
He never mentioned the pandemic.
He never mentioned
a war.
But he's satisfied. Now listen to where they are at. Him and the young man with the video. This is Rowley. Right? This is Rowley. This is Kamlan, the UNC. Tell me.
What does that mean to you, Juliet?
Right. So this is what I'm going to ask you, man.
I want because you mimicking what the man said.
Right.
So I want you to explain to me what that means to you.
I want to put it to you, and I want to put it out to Paul. But I want to put a question directly to you, as a citizen of Trinidad and Tobago. Exactly what did you get from that play?
You're talking to Paul?
I'm talking to Paul, the viewers, and I'm talking to you. I specifically putting a question to you. Are you satisfied as a citizen in this country that a prime minister, this is a prime minister, I don't know what that means. Apparently, he means to say Rowley eating, right? Although he did not tell the public what Rowley eating, because as far as I know, he's a prime minister and he's working for a salary just like everybody else working for a salary. So if this is working for his salary, I don't see how that is a problem. Come and tell me that Rowley getting this contract, Rowley getting this, Rowley doing that, Rowley taking things we're not supposed to take, whatever. But let me leave that so. But are you satisfied as a citizen in this country to have a government and to be proud to say that you like a government that was stealing your money, at least it was giving you some of what it was stealing?
Let me give you my view on that. I get the impression, because he said it was a bag of chip, and the minute he said the government taking from this bag of chip, he said this was the treasury to it. Right. He said this is the treasury.
Right.
The treasury is a bag of chip. This is what the government doing.
We need to go back on that
This
video.
is what the government doing.
Yeah.
From the time you dip your hand in the bag and you put it into your mouth, that is corruption. The government is supposed to put nothing from the treasury in their mouth.
In their mouth.
So let me forget that.
Right.
From the time he started go this way, that the government
and you must not be allowed to make those statements without telling people what is the corruption that the government is involving. Don't come and just make no thing and put it out there vague. And
let me tell you what they call it corruption. Faris Stuart Young recusing himself 95 times. Is that what they call in corruption? You know what is the problem? You know what they never told us, Juliet? How come we never heard about recusal under Kamala Prasad because we set the government? Not even one case.
The operator beating a desk, boy. The operator beating a desk.
But how come between 2010 to 2015, you never heard of one case of recusal in their party? But Juliet, at the end of their tenure, all half of them end up before the police on investigation. Yeah. But great, yeah.
The people that are living in my country, right? What the oil honest someone talking about. When the PNM took over, right? They say Kamala clean on the treasury. It had no money in the treasury, right? But I'm gonna explain something about Tanti Kamala, right? Watch it. Let's say this bag is of potato chips, right? This represents the treasury, right? She's eating chips. Here, hold that. Here, hold that now. You go fix this. Hey, you go do that, right? You understand, right? I ain't say she thief from the treasury, yeah? Yes, saying that. But if so, at least she share. You understand what I'm saying? But let me tell you about Kid Rowley, you know. This is the treasury. What's up? Just now. Take your time. Just now. Tech. Oh God, he's not now. Just now. Petty train. Give me that petty train. Give me that. Give me that. Oh God, PTSD, oh God, I know you bunch shut down over the place. Oh God, oh God, oh God. Just give me some time. Give me some time. Pensioners. Oh God, oh, I get on so. But wait now. One time almost up, boy. Ministry I work so lot. Hold that. They go fix on the place now. Let me look good. Right. You understand what I'm talking about?
Juliet,
You understand? Where is Kakahola and them come from, boy? And they have to look like me, boy. Where is Kakahola and them coming from and they're looking like me? And then you have Paul coming to tell me, but we have to be balanced. Of course I'm being balanced. I'm trying to tell you that if you're a citizen of this country, there is no way, whether he is a UNC, he is a PNM, as Paul said, a citizen of this country, you must not accept corruption. You must not. And there is no way of putting it other than the way I'm saying it here.
Juliet, where is the evidence of which he speaks and where the UNC continues to speak? If the UNC, if what he's saying is indeed a fact, that according to him, that Rowley is taking a chip from the bag, and according to him, here the UNC who grasping at straws, Rowley good pen is an issue. How come them can't find what he talking about and them grabbing at anything possible? This is
Rowley thieving, but Rowley finding time. Rowley finding time to go into to go and sell to mine goat to make an extra dollar something.
Rowley is so corrupt. But the only thing they can talk about is he and some goat and some stupidness. What this makes no logical sense. It is unreasonable.
Just imagine you telling the misinformation you're putting out about pensioners.
And these guys have children.
I just hear my mother saying every day, if the government come in the morning and say, because of the situation, the economic situation in the country, and the government said they're going to take back a $500, I just hear my mother saying she will gladly give it back to the government to help to build the country.
Your mother is
to help to build the country.
If Kamala Prasad Bisesa goes up against Keith Rowley in 2025, she will be slaughtered. The UNC will be slaughtered. And worse yet, if she goes up against Penny or anybody else in the UNC. Foster Cummins, Amory Brown, she will be slaughtered. As a matter of fact, the UNC will lose some of the 19 seats it has right now. They better be careful. They better be careful that they don't end up with seats only beyond the Caroni Bridge.
They better be careful. They better be careful if they don't end up with seats only beyond the Caroni Bridge. Take that!
Juliet, that will be a new video because it look like you taking treatment this time.
That video will become Juju Love and Mr. Arouca's anthem on this program.
Here. Listen, I think he taking treatment. He look better this time. Yeah, but
Mr. Arouca, I have no problem, and I don't apologize to anyone who have a problem with the position that I take.
Yeah.
The position that I take, I am satisfied in my conscience, Mr. Arouca, that it is one in which I am a level-headed citizen, despite that I am a supporter of a political party. Despite I am a supporter of a political party. Don't come to tell me no bullshit about nobody thieving no money in my country and giving me some crumbs and telling me in this country that, Juliet, let us be real. We have to put parties and we really have to think. But when PNM is in power, why does the crime go up? The crime
why are you talking like
ain't
that?
going up. It ain't going up because
that's a homophobic posture you just took there. Why are you talking like Paul is a man as far as I know. But like you know something, when you take that, that's a homophobic posture and you just take that, Paul is a man. You're talking, look at the posture again, let me forget that. Yes.
Mr. Arouca, you see the low blow on them this tonight? I ain't going with the blow tonight. I ain't going with the
I'm just saying, you took that position there.
Paul, let's talk about...
You went up in tenor, you went up in tenor, so I said, I wonder, anyway, Juliet.
No, Juliet. Paul, let's talk about him being... a former PNM, and of course he's from the trenches, he become. But Paul, for some reason, like he elevated to go all the way because you cannot be studying political science because that is what he said he is studying, and come to tell me that you supporting somebody who talking bullshit about a government thieving and satisfied with that. I'm happy with that. And vexed that somebody is saying that that is total nonsense that young man is talking there. And tell me about when PNM, let me tell Paul something about crime in this country. I want to tell you about crime and when PNM in power and when UNC in power. When UNC in power, people get murdered in this country. Who hold office in this country?
As a matter of fact, they were the only government ever got allegations of sending out hits on people. The only, it happened under the life sport, it happened under the councillor from Mayaro, it happened in the Danrad Singh incident. It's more than one.
It's more than once.
Even recently, I am reading articles of between 2010 and 2015, allegations of government institution unorganized hits against members of the UNC.
But a member of parliament said to Mr. Hines, "Dies why snake had lead for you. What lead is pencil? What lead is?
Lead pencil.
We know lead to be bullet. That we know lead is."
Juliet, we have a little time. I have two
articles?
No, not articles. Two things coming up. Emancipation.
Okay.
Coming up.
But let's see, I'm in my head. It's all part of
Yes. And the United Nations have declared monkeypox public health emergency of global proportion. So the world is looking at, although it's not as deadly as COVID, it is a global emergency. So you can expect prices, some uncertainty in prices. This is not going away, Juliet. The things that this young man is talking about, he probably doesn't understand. He probably doesn't understand that we live in a global village.
Wow, and they have $5,000 and $8,000 cell phone. I don't know.
And they could simply just Google it. On my cell phone is $1,000. Look here, I could Google it.
That's not $1,000.
Well, whatever. I buy it in a sale. And I'm also seeing that the Pope apologized for evil committed by so many Christians in Canadian residential schools. I want the African community to take note that the Pope continues to apologize to indigenous persons in Canada for atrocities that the Catholic committed in those I wonder the flicking Pope forget the atrocities, the African genocide that his church presided over. Like he forget that? Let me tell you something. The discrimination that African people are experiencing right here in Trinidad, under the hands of the opposition right here in this country, who sits in the parliament and make sure that they do not support any bill that they feel that they are of the opinion that will give African people a break, keep them out of jail. In the meantime, they're supporting the marriage bill, where the dirty old men can go and marry 15-year-old girl and rape them under the Marriage Act. They go support that.
Stick a pin.
Nobody will bully, intimidate, or harass the United National Congress and its leadership. I am reminded of a statement made by the founder of our great party, Basdio Pandi. Nobody, media, Rowley and his gang, anybody, will attack our political leader and our great party and remain unscathed. I want to repeat that. No one will be allowed to attack our political leader and our great political party and remain unscathed. We will defend our leader, we will defend our party. Thank you very much.
South of the Caroni Bridge, 12 seats, the original 12. The fourth. If Kamala Prasad Bisesa goes up against Keith Rowley in 2025, she will be slaughtered. The UNC will be slaughtered. And worse yet, if she goes up against Penny or anybody else in the UNC. Foster Cummins, Amory Brown, she will be slaughtered. As a matter of fact, the UNC will lose some of the 19 seats it has right now. They better be careful. They better be careful that they don't end up with seats only beyond the Caroni Bridge.
I'm defending the black man now. All who vex, come up with Bisesa. Yes, they're racist. I'm defending the black man now. All who vex, come up with Bisesa. Yes, they're racist.
Racist thieves, and that is out of the mouth of God Christopher and Kingsley put together. Kingsley say they are racist. God Christopher said that they better be careful. They better be careful that they don't end up with just 12 seats south of the Caroni.
That is where Kamala Prasad Bisesa reach. That is where she reach. Look how low this lady gone. This lady is lift up her skirt and gone very low. Our children go cry on their head. Our children go cry now. You will get the hardest political fall at their life. Because I tell the chairman up there, that loud, they don't like that. I'm telling you. They have a problem with the east-west corridor. I do not know why. I want to know if this is a clear for the African in this country to understand what's going on in the UNC party. I am going and call on all the PNM councillors. I'm going to call on all the I'm going to call on the PNM to rally behind me.
Everybody rolling with the PNM. All these steppers moving with the PNM. With the PNM.
Let's show you Bacadalias.
Watch now. Yeah, these people for real, Mr. Arouca.
Juliet, this is what I'm saying to you. I am saying to you that this country has been criminalized to that level that we're seeing here. These, I am not amused by that supporter there, but I do take note that those statements were made some time ago. I hear him making statements diametrically opposed to that statement.
Right. And what I want to tell you, when I listen to him, it reminds me of Israel Khan and the statement that you repeated that he made recently. Because coming out of the situation with Camille and Kamala, he run out his whole self, that is Israel Khan, to say Kamala is a rose by any other name. And then all of a sudden, because she pelt some lash on the law association and the inner bar of the senior councils and what have you, Mr. Man changed his tongue and dragged down Kamala to the worst. But in all, he is saying that he's still going to vote for Kamala. Caller, good evening and welcome.
Good evening, Ms. Davy.
Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Arouca.
Yes,
Wonderful program as usual.
Thank you.
You know, really sad listening to what you're saying. I want to ask Kamala sir, who is the real coach on Nostra? The Lawyers Association trying to make a whole party because when you hear Mr. Wayman say, nobody will be left unscathed if anybody criticizes you and see nobody will be left unscathed. That's like a mafia threat.
But of course.
Yes.
You know, it's really sad. You know, I know really sad to me. All of a sudden, let have mouth now. All the while they were talking on things that the UNC was supporting, so that no confidence motion. When Ms. Kamala said, marshal their coins now and back up and equate all there as Europeans see that eat our food. Or like marshal coin. You know what happened anymore? Israel kind of what people say, despite her shortcomings, he will still vote for her. That tells you something, you know. That really tells you something.
Yep.
I want to find out something. What Madam Bruni had to say about that? But, you know, I have about the DPP because we recently a couple of weeks ago, the Chief Secretary increased the salaries of CPEP and Arouca. What does the Chief Secretary and the Deputy Chief Secretary had to say about that comment that Kamala services are made? You haven't heard nothing from them.
Thank you, caller.
Thank you. Juliet.
Thank you.
Let me address what Israel Khan was saying. He's saying that he cannot vote. Kamala Persad-Bissessar is a charlatan, a rogue, and she's incompetent. He cannot vote for her. She must give back still. So he can't vote for she there at all, but he will vote for her based on only because of her race. That's all.
Right. And then we have another individual as well in the clip that we just saw. We can, by virtue, say that he will also vote for Kamala Persad-Bissessar because he's satisfied that that stealing was taking place, but at least some of the spoils, some of the ill-gotten gains will. So that is the type of society that we are developing now. I'm seeing a signal for us to go to a break, so we'll do that. But let me tell you,
we don't have no time for break.
But yes, we do. But let me tell you, remember we started late. Let me tell you, when Mr. Arouca, pay attention, when we get the backlash to this, what the young man is supporting, and to what other persons are supporting in this country, Israel Khan, the backlash to this is a society where people, especially our young population, would believe that it is okay to go invade people's homes, take the property, rape the children. We must go into people's businesses. We must rob them. A young man can be selling, or a young woman can be selling in the heart of town water, and a man can walk up to him and shoot him, bow, and he hear that killing. That is what you all will get, Paul. That is what you all will get. And when you get it, don't open your mouth to call no politician or no political party name.
Have a direct correlation with blue collar crime. That's the bottom line. That's the bottom line. White collar crime funnels and fuels blue collar crime.
We're going for a break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
The views of hosts and callers are not the views of NCBNTT television. The views of hosts and callers are not the views of NCBNTT television.
I see some issues today and I need to speak about them, right? I really need to speak about them. First thing first, I was listening to 104.7 this morning. And I hear Mr. Andy Williams. I don't know where he have it, Farley and Watson. But every time he open him out, it's Farley and Watson, Farley and Watson, Farley and Watson. And why they're not saying what's happening in Tobago? I don't see nothing hiding because I see that there's come on the post-executive meeting and there's come on some media briefings and there's telling people that Tobago is happening from where happening. I don't know if some people don't get on it on time, why they're doing these things. Now, he is saying that Tobagoans just put themselves different to Trinidadian. He trying to cause a separation between Trinidad and Tobago. Tobagonians ain't feel they better than Trinidad, and that is the biggest lie. We are in solidarity with them with what is going on over there with a man that come from over here. We are in solidarity with Trinidadian with that because for 21 years, that same man there in charge of our party been at Arouca Tobago the same thing. So it's not nothing new to nobody that PNM causing disruption in everybody's life. It's everybody's life, both here and there. So when he come on the radio this month to Lambles, Farley, and Watson Duke and saying all sorts of things concerning them and who and the wife own party and who doing things family wise and one thing to the next. That is propaganda and that is bacchanal, and God is not an author of confusion and the Williams. I want you to hear, let it tag you and let you hear what I'm saying on this Facebook Live. Me and care about you and me and care about nothing what you saying. We know in Tobago that we vote for a change and not an exchange. So what you saying there don't mean nothing to none of us. You and 7 months now come and you want the rubbish. They want to pick up the rubbish with a rubbish truck and throw it away just so. I want to see that. I want to see that. All must learn to know when to stop and stop them stupidness while going on. And look how much issues they in the country to see about. I think what's happening in Trinidad is not Tobago business. And then Andy Williams coming and talk about Tobago people don't want Trinidad and to be in Tobago business. And why they coming down there to fight an election by Andy by resistance, by the reason why there are so much of problems and 104 and want to take away Mr. Amara license. You boy, you're too distasteful and you're too ignorant and you're too aggressive and you feel that you alone have passion for country. It's not you alone who have passion for country. Everybody have passion for their country, but you going on too much and your problem is money. You have a money worries. I'm sorry for you. I don't care. I want you to hear this live and I want you to call 104 and call my name. And I got there waiting on you. I don't afraid you. You're too deceitful and wicked. When you came to Tobago people show you any bad face. Tobago people treat you any way that is bad. You come in and talk about Tobago people all for themselves. They don't mix with Tobago, Trinidad. And you're too lied. You're not talking the truth. Where we have to go against people for God. If you don't know, all of us are God's children. All of us come from Almighty God, right? And Almighty God is all our daddy. And we're not supposed to have hate like it inside. I say you send a picture for me with Farley shaking Faris hand. So what happened to that? What happened to that? They are the government, and if the assembly had to go through the government for certain things, he must have a meeting with them. And what happened with when the meeting done, he shake Faris hand? What's so wrong about that? All they had too much moss. You want to wash out all the moss that are having all the stomach for people. He have to speak to the government, but he have to stay focused on Tobago business. Nobody ever go override him. You sit down there, you Andy, and everything people send for you on your WhatsApp or send it in your inbox, you take bull and send it out and ball and start to braid the boy them on 104.7. You is the reason why some people come off at 104 and some people not supporting all the movement because of you Andy Williams. You need to learn manners.
The views of hosts and callers are not the views of NCBNTT television.
Juliet, this.
Everybody can run up the mouth and PNM. But the minute you talk about the UNC, you talk about the PDP, or you talk about any other party, everybody wants to get angry. So PNM is the only party could take bull pistol. Yeah. Nobody else don't want a bull pistol. Everybody want to run out when they get in the bull pistol from the citizens, they want to run out. You understand? And vex people talking. But when all of us gain PNM, all bull.
That is
that's
comedy,
a problem.
That is comedy par excellence. We didn't say buy a ticket to be entertained by Mother Bunny and Guy Gifford and them. They have reached comedian status. I'm telling you, we don't want to but a body could take she opinion with and put it where the monkey put the nuts. All of them cut from the same disgusting cloth. It would be laughable if they weren't so dangerous, because they continue to influence young uninformed.
You can tell me this thing is Mother Bernie and them will make them young people go and vote, you know, and not all them young people balling in Tobago, because you know why? I must call Google and ask him to find a clip with Watson Duke, where Watson Duke told the people in Tobago on the campaign trail that in 6 months' time, all they vote for we, and every youth going to get
job in the THA,
employment in the THA. Yeah. You see, the thing about it is, what amazes me is how these people, these politicians, these fly-by-night, such a dunce like Watson Duke and them. Let's imagine Tobagonians went and vote for that dunce head Watson Duke. You can imagine that? That dunce head, Farley. Have you been listening to Farley? Farley has turned out to be
a disappointment.
A bigger dunce.
Yeah, bigger.
Than Watson Duke. I am so ashamed. Yeah. I watched on a video some night, somebody I am so ashamed. I say, oh my God.
That is the most mediocre bunch.
Real mediocre.
The Tobagonians give up strong political leadership.
Leadership with Dr. Roddy and the PNM. Ansel Dennis.
Yeah. They give up that. You feel the PNM don't know of the errors that they have made?
And this is where I'm going. Because the citizens of this country are being misled by the young man who we saw on TikTok just now, Watson Duke, and a set of imps walking around with Watson Duke who don't want to work nowhere. Their pants below their bottom. They don't mind the children. All they want to do is to bling and to go zest. They listening to who they listening to? A man will tell you about gunman in your hole and skin up your hole and look what Auntie Kamala give me. Look what she give me. What Rowley doing? What are you doing? Auntie Kamala could give you that.
It's unfortunate.
Auntie Kamala could give you that.
It's unfortunate.
And she has more of that to give, and all want to go. But when you all go and you take it, and when you all take God out of your thought and put Kamala in the UNC or Watson Duke in government in Trinidad and Tobago, what all you get, all you must take.
But you see, that's the bad thing about it. It's not what all you get.
And
it's what
all of us going to
will have to take.
That's correct. Yeah. All of us going to.
So that's why we are here to avert that the possibility of all you putting her back into governance. That's why we are here. This ill-informed, this level of illiteracy,
ignorance, yes,
will not be allowed. You can't say that you did not hear or you did not know. That, my brother, is a fool's statement.
You have a leader who is trying to bring the country back to a level where there is morality and integrity in public life. You have a leader who is trying his best to do that, because if you don't do that, it's only one thing, Mr. Arouca, that is trouble down the road for your country. We have seen it in other
jurisdictions,
other regions. Right? Not too far from Trinidad and Tobago, some of them part of the Caribbean basin. Right? When you allow your country, let me tell you something at Trinidad and Tobago. Let me tell you something, Trinidad and Tobago. Many of you might not want to accept it, you might not want to believe it. But the crime problem that we have in this country today, we facing today, coming straight out of opposition politics in this country.
Just let me give you another example.
Out of the opposition politics.
Let me give the country another example. Today, about 2 o'clock, about 12 o'clock in the day, the North Coast was cordoned off by different factions of persons. The same MO was played out on the North Coast roads up in Blanchishes. Tires blocked the road, fire lighted. To my watching the videos, to my mind, I see the same faces. Now, of course, I doubt it can't be the same young men, but the same persona, the same atmosphere. The police was busy on the North Coast Road today. They say they protested some killing of some person about a week ago, They're now protesting. You go and tell me that these guys and them now feeling so aggrieved that they get a whole bunch of tires that we have said on this program before that used tires must be banned. We're going to get rid of this problem in one shot. Two things we need to ban in this country. One, used tires, only bring new tire. All who can't afford new tire, park up your flipping car and forget that. Used tires, they dumping it on me when we can't get nothing to do with it. People paying men
to make mischief in the country, damage the country, and the damage the country.
Smoke, hold a piece of money. It's the same, but because if you know, if you know, Juliet, the same kind of criminality that exists in Beatam and see that is that a fella up in the North Coast had the same gang and the same gang warfare and the same kind of mentality up in the North Coast.
And I will tell you something here. You know what is very, very sad about all of this?
Look at there.
You know what is very sad about this, Mr. Arouca?
I am
is
sure.
That
I am seeing the UNC, the opposition fingerprints on this.
Right. But you know what is sad about this?
Looks like tires burning. So
while we are seeing fire blazing and black smoke rising, protesting the killing at the hands of the police. This thing in the North Coast was a police killing?
Yes.
Right. So I just want to make sure that I have my point what I'm going to make straight. Smoke rising for extrajudicial killing in this country. Do you know that half of the persons who lighten that fire themselves are behind the killings that are taking place in our country? But police, them lighting fire and burning fire, police mustn't kill, but them have the free reign to murder whoever they want in this country. They can walk in your place, pull a gun, kill you and your family. You're doing business in town, bust or Arima or wherever the place, they bust 2 shots and a gunman bust 2 shots, kill you, wherever the case may be. The very same people behind them fire and them smoke is the ones who are doing all the killings in the communities. And that's the problem I can't understand.
This is what, this is
after the police station, like if you go in Maracas.
You could go right there, go on, yes, go on.
This is what we have to deal with today as a country. The same MO,
damaging the road.
The same MO, the same modus operandi, method of operation that exists 2 weeks ago, right here. I am seeing the fingerprints of there are a dangerous bunch of persons spending money that they got from wherever they got it, doing these havoc in China. So that's one of the things we can do is ban them tires, and they're not making no sense. They're dangerous, and they're using them, they're weaponizing them to create black smoke for everybody to see. Stop that. It ain't making no sense. There's only one set of people getting rich from that. Let the people that bring brand new tires, let them alone make the money in Trinidad and Tobago. 2, you see that scrap iron association business? Shut it F down. No, don't export no metal.
Mr. Arouca, if you see Shogunas, if you see all the Manon and Shogunas when you're walking on the pavement, you have to be very careful.
So we're talking about copper. Shut it down. Shut it down.
We have a video.
That stolen stuff is coming to your yard, and you're still pushing it. You're still pushing it.
This applies to copper and other metals as well. As a result, President of the TNT Scrap Iron Dealers Association, Alan Ferguson, says now more than ever, the industry is at a risk of being shut down and serious decisions had to be made. It is in this vein that TTCDA and the government met on Wednesday to discuss the way forward.
Please, let us work together with the government. Let all of us stand firm and remove this evil from in our industry.
Ferguson says in the coming weeks, several policies seeking to eradicate the theft that is occurring would be rolled out. According to former TTCDA Secretary Kenny Plaza, part of the short-term action plan is for the registration of all scrap iron collectors.
All scrap collectors must be publicly identifiable by the Trinidad and Tobago Scrap Iron Dealers Association sticker. 3. All scrap collectors must present upon to scrap iron dealers or yards, as is known, a complete van collector's form.
That form would apply to a listing of specific items of interest. It includes WASA, TSTT and TNTEC equipment, manhole covers, metal doors, compressors and pumps, and would be a red flag for any collector or dealer.
This will now tell the dealer was these items obtained legally, and there will be extensive proof needed to prove that it was obtained legally.
The form would reveal the description and quantity of items, the location where the items were collected, the cost to obtain the items, as well as the address and phone contact of the person who the items came from. While the items are in transit, Plaza says, they must be available for inspection by the police or the association.
Failure to do so, scrap collectors could be taken into custody and all goods in transit seized for investigation.
All dealers will now be given a registration number by the association to display alongside their license issued by the court. They would have to fill out a form for the specific items of interest containing the details of the collector the items were received from. TTC, the dealers, would be required to hold such items in their custody for 7 days to allow for checks or police investigations. If a theft is detected, the following action must be taken.
The registered TTC dealer must contact the nearest police station, surrender the goods to the authority, and furnish the police service with all details of the collector.
Plaza says very soon registration would be needed to operate within the industry. He says this also applies to local and foreign exporters.
Everyone needs to be registered with the association as of now. That is our call. And everybody needs to understand that there are regulations coming, that you need to have your license in order.
Sensitization campaigns to inform the public are to come. TTC is inviting scrap iron stakeholders to a meeting at the association's building in Kelly Village on Saturday. Registration will start then and would be ongoing for a month. Alicia Boucher, TV6 News.
Wearing a tight pants and a handbag in his hand. I say no, this ain't true. And he wearing makeup too.
Let me tell you something. Mr. Arouca, we in real problems here.
The last time Alan Ferguson made a statement, I asked that he take some of the money he's spending the whole press conference and go and put some teeth in him out. Like he didn't put none, because under that mask I still hearing like he had no teeth in him out. So I will advise him again. When you're a leader, you must look like a leader. You must look like me. Look like a leader. You can't just be a leader. You have no teeth in your mouth, partner. You have disrespect. But anyway, besides that, all that BS, all of them just talk there. Everything them just talk there is the law. No scrapyard just supposed to operate without a license. No time at all a man supposed to have goods on the van that he can't explain where he gets from it and receive.
They're receiving stolen articles.
It is too little too late. While the industry was going down the drain, he was cussing Rowley. Yes. Rowley. Following
the unions.
Following the union, following Roger and them all about the place in rally. They attempted to hold a rally without a permit to march. The government, the police shut them down. They started cussing about station, all about, with the no teeth, all about talking shit. Now we talking about you want to regulate. I say shut it the F down.
Yes, I agree.
Shut it down. And let me tell you something. You see that 3 months ban them talking about on scrap iron will not work. That 3 months copper ban, you know what they'll do in 3 months? They will fill their warehouses. They will cut cable and stock it up. As they hear the 3 months done, all the cable cut down. Stop copper, stop steel, stop everything until they learn behavior, until they have a respect. And let me tell you something. The most important thing about this whole thing, what Mr. Ferguson is talking about is bullshit. You know why? Who is going to police what he just said there? Who is going to he could police that? Why he couldn't police it?
I agree with you.
What that all that man cutting cable in Tortuga, Mayaro, Las Vegas, see barrier. He's going to. The real problem in this thing is that only 8 or 10 men can export copper in Trinidad and Tobago. There is a mafia going on. cutting down copper, they're stealing the...
And it is not, let me tell you something, I want you to understand, and the viewers to understand, that this scrap iron and this
Big
cable,
Mafia.
it is not just the economy out of it, but you have to look at the political side of it.
Yes.
Because what
When
they're
doing,
when
yes,
they're destroying the country,
and that
because
leads
I told you,
that leads to people
because I
falling
told
into
you,
manhole, and
I
this all
told
of
you,
this is part of the
Shogunas,
politics.
if it sounds shameful to Shogunas on the main road is looking, all the covers for the manhole gone,
This is opposition politics of destroy your country so that we can have something to say. And more important than this is criminality at its highest level. So it's a multi-pronged sword.
It is
you get to
multi-pronged.
politics,
Yes.
you get to, and more important, the most important of all of this, I hear they talking about copper, scrap iron that's bringing Forex. Forex for who? The government don't get no Forex from that. Forex for the criminals in the country who are sending out their boys to cut down under instructions. Go. You can't tell me that copper cable so attractive. It is because there's also a opposition component to that.
Before we go, because I see we want to close off.
Yes, yes.
I want to say to the persons in this country who are very happy to call Kamala anti-Kamala, although they express the view that between 2010 to 2015, massive corruption was taking place. I want to say this to you. You all is part of the problem. And just think for a minute, a situation where a child comes to the mother and say to the mother, "Mommy, I am being interfered with by my stepfather or my father," right? And the mother looks at the child and tells the child, "You lie. Why are you telling lies on your father? Your father will never do a thing like that." "Mommy, yes, Daddy did it to me on 2 occasions and I cannot take it no more, Mommy." And you know what Mommy tells that child? And that is what Paul and them telling me that I must accept. That's what that young man on TikTok telling the people in this country. Your father pays the bills. Your father puts a roof over our head. Your father is the one that brings in an income. He is the main breadwinner in this house. You dare not say anything of sort about your father. And that mother leaves that child in the hands of the father, because you know why? Folks, we love you. Thanks for joining us. See you all on Wednesday. Eat some and give some. So you leave the child in the hands of the abuser. And this is what they are saying. We must put Trinidad and Tobago in the hands of the abusers, in the hands of the thieves, because at least
the government,
we must get
the
something.
government is fighting an opposition on all fronts.
Yes.
And you see that scrap iron business, you cannot tell me that don't matter how much you beg them not to cut down these things, take up manhole covers. It is out of control. The only way to fix it,
the only way to fix it
is to shut it down.
Right. Folks, we love you. Talk to you Wednesday, God's willing. Bye. Thursday, sorry. I don't know why I always say Wednesday.
The views of hosts and callers are not the views of NCBNTT television.
Na 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 no. Alright then, Father God, show me my friends, please, because we don't know all my enemies. I the one them will stand right beside you, and want soak you like them a lead. So me ask God to protect me head in the streets at night, and all of me enemies, yes, Father God, please shine them a light. Oh, Father God, yeah. See God.
hide me from them bad